In 1978, five friends suddenly abandoned their car on an isolated mountain road in California. The vehicle still worked perfectly. There was enough fuel, nothing was damaged, but for some reason, they walked directly into the freezing wilderness at night. On February 24, 1978, five friends left a basketball game in Chico, California. Their names were Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Ted Wire, Gary Mathias, and Jackie Hewitt. The group was excited. The next morning, they were scheduled to play in an important basketball tournament together. Friends later described them as cheerful and completely normal that night, but none of them ever returned home. Days later, police discovered their car abandoned high in the mountains, far from the route they were supposed to take, and immediately, something felt wrong. The car wasn't crashed. It wasn't stuck badly enough to prevent driving. There was still fuel inside. The keys were missing, but nothing suggested an emergency severe enough to abandon the vehicle completely. Even stranger, the group had left behind jackets and supplies despite freezing temperatures outside. At first, investigators assumed the men became lost, but the deeper the search continued, the more disturbing the mystery became. Footprints revealed the group had walked for miles through deep snow during the night. No clear destination, no visible reason. Then the bodies were discovered. The first man was found near the road, frozen to death beneath a tree. Others were located farther into the wilderness. But the most disturbing discovery came months later inside an abandoned forest trailer. One of the men, Ted Wire, was found dead inside the cabin, but investigators noticed something deeply unsettling. The trailer contained enough food and supplies to keep him alive for months. Emergency rations, blankets, matches, heating materials. Yet most of it remained untouched. Even stranger, Ted had survived for weeks after entering the trailer. His beard had grown significantly, meaning he lived there for quite some time before dying. But somehow, he never used the available food properly, never lit the heating system, never attempted to leave. Nearby, investigators found another disturbing detail. Several military-style blankets had been carefully wrapped around his body, as if someone else had tried protecting him before disappearing into the forest again. One member of the group, Gary Mathias, was never found. To this day, he remains missing. Over time, theories spread everywhere. Some believe the group became disoriented after encountering severe weather. Others suspected paranoia, fear, or a psychological breakdown. But investigators still struggle with one simple question. Why did five men abandon a perfectly functional car and voluntarily walk into freezing darkness for miles? The Yuba County Five mystery remains unsolved, and decades later, the abandoned trailer deep inside those mountains still feels like the final scene of a story nobody fully understands. Maybe the group simply became lost in the mountains that night. Maybe fear and confusion caused them to make irrational decisions. But if that's true, why did they continue walking for so long? And what convinced them to leave safety behind in the first place?